We have an extra special treat, ladies and gentlemen, from Washington, D.C., flown in especially for the occasion. We have to be introduced by his press secretary, Pierre Solinger. I'll call him Mr. Solinger to introduce the great speaker we have with us tonight, Mr. Solinger. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here. I'd like to introduce to you now the President of the United States, Mr. John F. Kennedy.
Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow North Americans, it is always a pleasure to come north of the unguarded frontier. Our two countries, as you know, have always engaged in close comradeship, friendship, and have been in close ties, both economic, political, and military. In this regard, Mr. Diefenbaker, only a short while ago, and in the short space of a month, volunteered, should the need again arise, to blockade Cuba, to dispatch to our aid the entire Canadian Navy, both ships. These are the HMCS Bonaventure and the Sam McBride. Now, our pleasure at being here tonight, we must express thanks to Mr. Joe McCulley, who has volunteered to babysit Caroline and baby John. As you know, we are particularly engaged with engineers because I have one on my cabinet who attends the White House lawns. You may have heard of him, Lyndon Johnson.
Mr. Kennedy, the cameras are set up and we have a request for a short press conference. The questions have been handed in to me if you feel there is time.
Yes, there's time here, but due to the tenseness of the international situation, I can afford to answer only the most important question. So, first important question, please.
The first question, sir, is from Sander von Oker, CBS News. Sir, in the question of nuclear arms versus the dismissal of the 12-point disarmament program, do the communist satellites have a direct correlation to the uncommitted nations?
Yes. Well, now, that's what I call an important question. Get him out of here. Next question, please.
The next question, Mr. President, is from Irving Goldberg of the Christian Science Monitor. Sir, can you give us any explanation of the recent purges in Russia, particularly the one of Mr. Stalin by Mr. Khrushchev?
Well, the only thing I can say on that is you always hurt the one you love.
The next question, Mr. President, from Anastasia Dipwhistle of the Ladies' Home Journal. We understand that in the cultural exchange program between the USSR and the United States of America, the performers are chosen by the respective heads of state. For the 1962-63 season, can you tell us who Mr. Khrushchev has chosen as his favorite American stage personalities?
Yes, well, let me make a point on that. I understand that Mr. Khrushchev has invited Red Skelton, Red Buttons, the Marx Brothers, and, of course, the Lennon sisters.
The next question, Mr. President, from Martin Stevens of Field and Stream. Since your election and the election of your brother Teddy to the Senate from Massachusetts, charges have been made that you are setting up a dynasty. Would you care to comment on this?
No, this is not true. However, our family, as all families do, have a motto. And my motto is, show me the test and I shall not shrink from it. And my brother Robert's motto is, give me the test and I shall stand up to it. And my brother Teddy's motto is, find me the test, and I shall find someone to write it for me.
Thank you, Jack. Mr. President, from James N. Coyne, the Bank of Montreal newsletter. On the American political scene since your election, there have been certain changes. Never before have such close ties existed between Washington and the West Coast, particularly the Hollywood area. Could you comment on this?
Yes, well, I can make a judgment on that. We still believe in the two-party system, the one at Dean Martin's and the one at Frank Sinatra's.
There's time, Mr. President, for just one more question from the Anaheim, California News, R. Nixon. In the recent elections, Democrats on the whole scored resounding victories across the country. Can you tell us how this will affect your election plans for the future?
Absolutely. Let's make no mistake about that. I shall run in 64, and my brother Robert shall run in 68 and in 72, and my brother Teddy shall run in 76 and 80, and after that it shall be 1984.